Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And in this video, I've created a little slideshow presentation, slide deck, slideshow, whatever word the kids are using now. But what we're going to talk about is, you've heard that TP-Link has done a Wi-Fi 8 test, right? Or they've got some theory out there and everybody's talking about Wi-Fi 8. But Wi-Fi 7, in my opinion, is what we should be concentrating on getting up to. And we've got people who are still running Wi-Fi 5 who have not upgraded to Wi-Fi 6 or 6E and haven't really thought about 7. So I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of Wi-Fi 7, then talk about some of the equipment cost, and then talk about some considerations. So if you're thinking about redoing your Wi-Fi and you're still running just, Wi-Fi 5 or, AC, Wi-Fi 7, if you need an entire network refresh, could be good, but there are things that you have to think about. It also depends on the size of the organization or whether it's a home network. So there's a lot of things to really get the most out of Wi-Fi 7, and I'm sure that I'm not covering them all in this, and I'm 100% sure you're going to let me know down in the comments, and I am looking forward to that. But let's talk about this. So Wi-Fi 7 deployment, some of the pros, right? You're going to get higher throughput, and you're going to future-proof your network a little bit, because you could have wider channels, 320 megahertz channels. You can have 4K QAM, and so you're going to be able to push more speed, multi-gig speeds, depending on how you deploy this. Wi-Fi 7 has improved multi-band and multi-link efficiency, and you can use 2.4, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz dynamically for better performance. There's better capacity, lower latency with OFDMA, multi-RU, and MLO. That's going to help us create more dense wireless networks, what is going to allow better capacity and to really leverage Wi-Fi 7 to get those speeds that you're looking for. It is backward compatible. So if you have a Wi-Fi 7 client, or you even have a Wi-Fi 7. So if you have a Wi-Fi 7 client, you can connect to Wi-Fi 7 APs all the way back to one of the older, way past 6, 5. You can still do that. And hopefully you're still running 5 unless you've got some sort of IoT devices that need something, before that. That's a whole other conversation, right? And Wi-Fi 7 AP is going to be able to support, Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E clients. Now, there is a caveat to that Wi-Fi 6E. Not all Wi-Fi 7 APs have a 6 gigahertz radio in them. So you have to make sure that if you have clients that are capable of 6E and you want to take advantage of that 6 gigahertz, that the access points you buy must support Wi-Fi 6E. And there is a wide choice of cost tiers, everything from around $100 all the way up to thousands of dollars. And we'll take a look at an example of that. So some of the cons: if you're really going to push Wi-Fi 7 for all it's worth, your wiring, your infrastructure may not be set up in a way to really push what Wi-Fi 7 is capable of. So if you're going to, do this at scale, you're going to need multi-gig switches, right? So switches that support not only gigabit connections, but 2.5, 5, 10 gig. We're going to look at not only deploying Cat 6A or Cat 5E cabling for power, but depending on the access point, you may need to run fiber alongside of it and use the SFP Plus module so that you can actually put 10 gigs of data through an access point. You might be able to do that with Cat 6A, but your runs are going to be shorter for that. And if we're just looking at getting power to them, the cabling doesn't necessarily have to be Cat 6A, but a lot of these at a minimum are needing PoE++ because they've got so much crammed into them that to get the efficiency and the effectiveness out of them, that they need more power. Another con is client device support lag. So many clients still lack full Wi-Fi 7 feature support. So it's not just the access point manufacturers, it's the manufacturers of the clients that are going to connect to that need to also get caught up. And, one of the things that you might see is some devices may not even mention Wi-Fi 7. They may not even be Wi-Fi 6. Most of the time, you're seeing flagship models are supporting that newer stuff, and some of the ones that are not flagship are not. It's kind of a mixed bag out there with devices. I am glad to see that a lot of the new laptops are coming standard with a minimum of Wi-Fi 6. So that means that we're trending in the right direction. Spectrum and regulatory limits. 6 gigahertz access varies by region, and there are some stipulations even in the United States about using the 6 gigahertz. So you need to look into that as well. Power and thermal demands. High end access points need better cooling and better PoE budgets. And the high end pricing. So, enterprise, or who you would consider, that used to be enterprise, these access points can cost way over $1,000 a piece. We're going to talk about some of the specs here, and then we'll talk about some of the infrastructure checklist. So if you're just wanting to dip your toe into Wi-Fi 7, you could go with something like a Ubiquiti U7 Lite, a Grandstream GWN 7670, excuse me. And we're looking at, 2x2 MIMO PoE Plus, but they both have, I believe, a 2.5 gig uplink. So that's going to be less, $300 or less. Then when you're looking at the mid tier, that 2 to 500, you could be looking at a Ubiquiti U7 Pro, a TP-Link EAP 773. These are tri-band. They do have 6 gigahertz. They can be powered with PoE Plus or Plus Plus, and you're going to want a 2.5 gig to a 10 gig uplink for those. And then when we start looking at what some of these enterprise players are offering, and this is going to be $1,000 or higher, you're looking at like the Cisco CW 9176, the Aruba AP 735, the Ruckus R770, and these are going to be 4x4, 8x8 MIMO PoE plus plus, and you're going to need a minimum of a 5 to 10 gig uplink. Now, when you're looking at your cabling and your switches, for if you're doing multi-gig, a safe assumption is that you can get up to 2.5 gig on Cat 5e. At shorter runs, you could probably also get 5 gig, but I wouldn't guarantee it, right? So you're going to want to use, Cat 6a for anything greater than 2.5 gig just to have that assurance. And if you're doing 10 gig, you're either going to want to look at Cat 6a or you're going to want to look at fiber. So your access point, once again, is going to have an SFP plus port, but you may also be running, Ethernet alongside that to power it. You have to make sure that if you've got one of these access points, whatever it says the throughput is going to be, remember, cut that in half, but you're going to want to have a switch uplink to that AP that's going to be able to, push the throughput that the AP says that it can. And then you have to make sure that your PoE budget from the switches you're powering these from are appropriate. So 20 to 30 watts, that's your PoE plus, and then 45 watts and above, that's going to be PoE plus plus, right? And then, there's some devices can do 60 watts, 90 watts. I don't know where it's going to end with what kind of power we can push over Ethernet. Somebody way smarter than me is going to have to tell us that. And here's some infrastructure recommendations. So use Cat 5e, Cat 6a fiber cabling for multi-gig and 10 gig uplinks. Ensure switch PoE budgets match the access point class. So PoE for SMB or for home, PoE++ for enterprise, medium, large business. Wherever you are going to put the high-powered APs, you need to make sure there's adequate ventilation and that they have adequate airflow. You want to verify all of your clients support 6 gigahertz. This is if you're running Wi-Fi 7 APs that have a 6 gigahertz radio, and you want to be able to use 2.4, 5, and 6. You need to make sure that your clients support that and that they can handle 320 megahertz channels. And then you want to plan for your density. So high density access points and deployments for 500 plus clients, rough number. And if you're looking for homes or SMBs, probably less than 100, right? I don't know exactly what that sweet spot is, because anytime you want to, I don't want to label companies. You got to tell me what you are, because the minute I assume, then somebody gets upset. And then make sure that your switches are upgraded and have multi-gig ports, SFP plus ports, all those things to avoid bottlenecks to the access points. So what did I miss on this list? I put this together thinking about a deployment that is coming up, and I've got a mixed bag of clients. I've got clients that support Wi-Fi 7, clients that support Wi-Fi 6E. So we're going to be doing some special design considerations. And then I have clients that don't even support, Wi-Fi 6. So there's a whole lot of things that I'm considering and looking at and trying to figure out the most efficient way to do things. And I thought I would put this list together. Maybe you're thinking about this, but let me know what I missed, kind of big picture, down below. Let me know how your Wi-Fi 7 deployment is going. Let me know if you are a consultant or an MSP. Let me know how your Wi-Fi 7 deployment's going, how you're tackling that. At this point, when we're speccing new gear, I'm going to tell you we're not speccing typically anything under Wi-Fi 7 unless there's a huge cost advantage, and that's what the client wants. But there's a lot that goes into properly designing and laying out a network. So we haven't even got to those videos yet. This was just my Wi-Fi 7 kind of, here it is, here's what's in my head, here's what I'm thinking about, the things that I'm considering, the things I've had to consider. Let me know what I missed down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below, along with affiliate links, a Patreon link. And if you need IT consulting, if you need to get your network reworked, whether it's on the wired side or on the wireless side, or if the wireless side is going to cause a wired side, redesign, if you need voice over IP, security, storage, all those things, head on over to williehowe.com, fill out the contact form, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. If you'd like to talk more about this and other tech stuff, head on over to community.williehowe.com and join the conversation today. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.